Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duggar For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Gunnar, the son of Joanna Duggar, required emergency medical attention on Sunday due to concerning symptoms from a cold that were not manageable at home. The 19 kids and counting actress talked candidly about her son's treatment-related scary hospital stays that left her awake at night. After just one day, little Gunnar began wheezing and struggling to breathe, Joanna posted on Instagram. The little boy had been sick with a slight cough and runny nose all week. We had done all the things we could do at home, and nothing was helping, so we took him into the ER, she continued. Gunnar received steroids, breathing treatments, and nose suctioning while in the hospital, but nothing was able to relieve his heavy, laborious chest breathing. He was admitted to the hospital, and Joanna spent a restless night hoping her kid would recover. All night, she stood and held him, and he cried in pain when he woke up almost every 20 minutes. While he received urgent care, Joanna's husband, Austin Forsyth, and their other children, Evelyn, 4, and Gideon, 4, visited them in the hospital. Gunnar had recovered after 2 oxygen-filled nights, and Joanna had sent videos of him running around the hospital room with his dad. Joanna claimed that although her infant had a regular cold, the infection was too strong for his respiratory system to overcome on its own. Whenever he gets a little bit of a cold, his lungs just can't do it on their own, she continued. Since their family has a history of asthma, Joanna was concerned that when he gets older, they might need to get tested for the condition. Jason Duggar weds Maddie Grace in a Tennessee ceremony, upsetting his father. Jim Bob's severe regulations at the Wild Welcome. I'm just so thankful that we took him in when we did, and it didn't get any worse, she continued. Only a few months had passed since Gunnar's hospitalization due to a food choking incident. In an attempt to encourage her newest kid to spit up a piece of ham, Joanna recounted in June hitting him on the back. She had to give the infant over to her husband, an EMT, as she was unable to get him to cough it up. In a YouTube video, she said that Gunnar threw up multiple times, and still hadn't thrown up the ham and was gagging and not breathing. After that, he was able to take some shallow breaths but was still struggling and was lethargic. He stopped breathing a few times during their drive to the hospital, which the couple decided to rush to, and they watched in fear. I was just crying out to God like please save him, and I've never been to a point where I thought I was going to lose one of my kids, she stated. Jim Bob and Michelle are the parents of 19 kids. The couple's children all have names that start with the letter J, 9 girls and 10 boys. Raised in the family home in Tontatown, Arkansas, were Joshua, Jana, John David, Jill, Jessa, Jinger, Joseph, Josiah, Joanna, Jedediah, Jeremiah, Jason, James, Justin, Jackson, Johanna, Jennifer, Jordan Grace, and Josie. But once they arrived at the emergency room, Gunnar began to breathe normally and even laughed as the X-ray was being taken. I was just so thankful that God protected him, and we made it to the hospital, and that whatever was in his throat wasn't bothering him anymore, she continued. This summer, Joanna defied her father Jim Bob's strict standards about modesty, which she had grown up adhering to. In addition, despite their financial difficulties, she and Austin have found a buyer for their house. Gunnar, Joanna Duggar's son, was hurried to the hospital. Counting on former student Joanna Duggar Forsyth has returned with alarming news regarding her son Gunnar. The 26-year-old mother had previously given up YouTube to devote more time to her children. Her choice also follows a terrifying event in which Gunnar almost lost his life. However, Joanna's nightmare experiences appear to be ongoing, as her youngest kid was admitted to the hospital once more. Joanna Duggar tells Gunnar about a life-threatening event. Joanna posted a vlog about Gunnar's horrifying experience in June. The former cast member of Counting On claims that her son choked on some ham that she gave him. Luckily, Austin was present to take the appropriate actions to free his son from choking and then take him to the hospital. Joanna was overcome with emotion since she was powerless without her husband. While some offered Joanna advice on how to feed her youngest boy, others expressed sympathy for her. Gunnar, Joanna's son, raced to the hospital. Joanna recently shared a terrifying tale on Instagram stories about Gunnar being admitted to the hospital. The former star of Counting On claims that Gunnar became ill a few days ago. At first, it was simply a slight cough and runny nose. However, Joanna and Austin started to realize that he was having trouble breathing. They hurried him to the hospital to receive the necessary attention as a result. Joanna Duggar Gunnar was given a variety of therapies, including steroids and nasal suctioning, but nothing was working, according to Forsyth's later revelations. But Gunnar was a warrior, and he overcame his hardships. Joanna was up much of the night, wanting to hold Gunnar. Gunnar started to feel and breathe better through the night after gradually lowering his O2. Waiting for, how is Gunnar doing following the emergency? Joanna Duggar Forsyth released videos of Gunnar acting animated and playful a few hours after the terrifying event. He was clapping merrily as they were able to go for home at last. The Counting On alum claims that her son's respiratory system is incapable of functioning properly on its own. He wasn't responding well to all the remedies they tried at home. What kind of condition Gunnar has is unknown. However, their physician thinks he suffers from a form of asthma, which Austin also has. Duggar News, Happiness Gunnar, Anna Duggar's son, is in the hospital. Is he all right? Joanna is a well-known character on Duggar News. She refused to back down, even when her notorious family chose to remain quiet following the Josh Duggar allegations. Joanna has graciously shared pictures of her 3 children, her husband Austin, and their wonderful family. In addition, she has been a regular YouTuber, posting weekly updates about her daily activities. But like a lot of other celebrities and influencers, Joanna has occasionally been the target of severe scrutiny. It largely has to do with her mistakes as a parent. They so get quite concerned whenever she posts updates regarding her children. Joanna recently shared on social media about her youngest son Gunnar's hospital stay. However, why? Joanna had given birth to Gunnar back in 2023. Thus, those who follow Duggar News are aware that he is a bit older than a year old. But the child has had to make numerous hospital visits. It is because of his persistent breathing issues. Before the current occurrence, Joanna once gave her son a larger-than-usual piece of ham. He experienced a choking hazard as a result. Joanna and her spouse Austin had to admit him to the hospital after realizing he was having trouble breathing. Following a very intense visit and a few tests, young Gunnar was able to breathe normally again. But based on Joanna's recent posts, it appears that her son's breathing issues are still there, as she talks about taking her son to the hospital on multiple occasions. Why is it the case?